So let's talk about the past, because I got a question about negative feelings coming up from the past. So just to set the stage, let's define what the past is. Because in order for us to experience the past, we first have to have a thought about the past. And it's a representation of the past because it's not really the past. So in a way, the past doesn't exist. And I'm not saying this to dismiss your experience. I'm simply pointing to the fact that we bring the past to the present moment through our thoughts. And then we feel our thoughts. We feel our stories about the past, about what happened, about what it means for us, what it doesn't mean, how it stops us, what other people think of us because of what happened. So we have a lot of thinking and stories and assumptions about the past, and then we feel all of this. Now, just to go back to the point where I said that we recreate the past each time we remember it. And we know that our memories are very inaccurate because even in eyewitness testimony, the witness doesn't remember exactly what happened. There's a lot of, or memory can be very unreliable. So we think we remember exactly what happened, but if you go back, let's say you have something that happened 20 years ago, and you have a friend who also experienced that very same thing, what you'll remember compared to your friend may be extremely different, even completely different. Because each time we remember something, we recreate it in our minds. And we recreate it through our lens of who we are right now and our experiences, our filters, even our mood. So if you wake up anxious and afraid, you'll remember the past differently than if you wake up feeling peaceful, calm, happy, content. So we feel our thoughts and we bring up the past. We use our thoughts like a time machine, you could say. And we experience the past through the present moment by using our thoughts. And the layering of thoughts and meaning and stories and what we should think of ourselves, if we should feel guilty or shameful or bad, whatever it is. All of that mixes into make a smoothie that becomes the past, or what we call the past. So why do some events feel negative and some don't when we think about the past? Well, maybe your brain, your body wants to learn something from what happened. So that's one side. And the other side is maybe we just think about it a lot. So it's just become a habit. Because once you've extracted something from a negative event, a mistake you made in the past, there should be some relaxation around that. Because maybe there's a reason your brain brings up something that happened. Maybe there's something you need to learn. And so, for example, when I lost a lot of money when I invested in the wrong place because I was young. And so I can go back to that memory. I can feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I would have been much better off right now in providing for my family and everything else. But there's no reason to do that. All I can do is look at what I learned from that, which was to study more, learn more due diligence about what I'm investing in, instead of getting caught up in what I hope will happen and then from that hope follow that overexcitement and anxiety, you could say, because I want to get somewhere faster, which was one of the big themes when I was younger. So in extracting wisdom, and I'll probably make another video on this so we can dive deeper into it, just to stay on track on this in this video. So when the past comes up, how do you let go of the negativity? Well, you have a choice, first of all. Thoughts come in. I mean, I can't control what thoughts come in. There may be a thought about the past. I can't control that, but I have a choice in how much I entertain that thought, you could say. And I have a choice in extracting the wisdom from my mistake, from whatever happened, and doing my best with that. And then letting go. And letting go simply means not holding on. It doesn't have to mean that you do something. You don't have to perform a technique or a ritual, you could say, to let a thought go. Because you have thoughts all day long about strange things, and they simply flow past. You let them go without effort because you don't care about those things. So you may be walking outside, look at a tree and think, oh, that's a nice tree. And the thought disappears. But if you have a thought about the past, like for me, I shouldn't have lost that money. I shouldn't have. I'm just sloppy and lazy and I shouldn't have done that. And then I can go into a tailspin because I can pile on more thought. Oh, I shouldn't have, and in the future I'm not going to invest at all because that happened, and I'm no good at investing, and I shouldn't. So you can see there can be a lot of meaning about what that initial thought means instead of it being like the thought about the tree where, okay, it's a tree. So there's something in the thought that comes from the past that hooks you. It's sticky and you believe it. You believe the thoughts that come after it, that you're no good, you made a mistake, you shouldn't have. And that may all be true. Maybe you shouldn't have, but we're all human. We make mistakes and we learn from them. We do our best to extract the wisdom we can from our mistakes, and then we go on living. And the thought may return over and over again, because if you've been thinking about something for 10 years, 30 years, it's become a habit, so it may return. But that doesn't matter, because you can relax with that thought, and each time it returns, you see the game it plays. You see the thought coming in for a cup of coffee, and you see the friends that thought brings. So it's the investing thought, bringing friends, saying, I shouldn't have, I should be better, I'm not going to do that, I'm never going to do that, that's bad. So all these other friends and cousins and references to other things, propping it up, and it becoming a table from which you drink that coffee of negativity. So everyone makes mistakes. We learn from them. And you could say there's no need to feel guilty. Now, guilt is not the same as remorse or regret. I would say guilt is more us being hard on ourselves and berating ourselves. And with that comes a negative feeling, and that feeling leads to demotivation, not wanting to do anything, not feeling inspired to do anything. So if you're stuck in guilt, you're not living up to your potential. And if you made a mistake, the best thing you can do is do the best you can with what you have right now, and to make that mistake into something you can share with others. And if you're not sharing it with others, in terms of telling your story with words like I'm doing now, it can become a part of your being. And then you share that story through your expression and through who you are. So being stuck in guilt isn't going to help anything. It's just going to lead to more negative behavior, because when you indulge in negative thoughts, that leads to negative feelings, which lead to negative behaviors, and you just want that feeling to go away. So then maybe you start drinking or doing drugs or whatever else you think you need to do to get rid of that feeling, when in fact all you need to do is see that it's all created inside. It's not the past making you feel anything. It's just a thought that comes and you feel that thought. You give meaning to it, you tell stories, and you feel all of those stories, all of those assumptions. So the best thing you can do is, because we all make mistakes, so the best thing you can do is extract the wisdom from that, see how your mind works, how thought works, and then begin to ask yourself what's truly interesting to you, what makes you come alive, so you can start living up to your potential, if you want to use that word. So my mind may go back to the investing mistake, but I'm not interested in that. There's nothing for me to gain there anymore, because I've gone through it. And I'm just using this as an example of one technique. You can go into the past and extract wisdom, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it, because if you just take what I say, make it a technique, then it becomes kind of a ritual. You become rigid because you think you should do it. So you'll find your own way of doing this, and you'll know it's your way because you feel drawn to do it. And sometimes you force yourself to do something you don't want to do in order to learn what you truly want to do and how your being works, how you feel called to do things. So my mind may go back to the past, but it's more like a TV that's on in the background. Maybe there's some show that I don't care about. I'm just ambivalent about what's going on. I'm detached. There's noise coming from the TV, there are images, but I don't really care. I'm doing my thing. Making my smoothie, reading my book, staring out the window, or whatever is going on. So, to sum up, just because you made a mistake doesn't make you a bad person. That's just an idea that we've learned. We make mistakes. Some people make huge mistakes. And even those mistakes can be turned into something that's helpful for others, whether it's through your story or just living as yourself. And the more we can embrace both the seeming light and darkness of ourselves, the more we become whole beings, just being ourselves, living as we are and enjoying life, seeing that there's nothing really bad that can happen in terms of how we feel. Because obviously bad things can be done if we go by the standards of our culture, but what I'm pointing to is the experience, your experience, and how thought leads to feeling, leads to behavior and all that. And we are all human. We make mistakes. There are no stories needed. And thoughts may come back from the past. And that's just how this roller coaster works. We have good feelings, we have bad feelings, we go to the past, we go to the future. But in reality, we're always in the present moment experiencing our thoughts. So no real past, no real future. Those are just concepts we've learned and concepts we use. So I'll stop there. Hope you enjoyed this. Click the buttons if you liked it, and don't if you didn't. So I'll talk to you soon.